set it like this so I can actually see. That's better.
That's better?
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Does that change? As long as I'm speaking into the same.
Yeah, and to the flat piece, I think that's all that matters.
Looks so eatable.
It kind of makes me think it'd be a black licorice marshmallow.
Black licorice is garbage.
Exactly. That's why I'm not looking for it.
Sucks.
My dad loves it.
No.
But
Probably the worst candy ever made.
I don't think it even deserves the title of candy.
It tastes like medicine. It's a medicine.
It is a medicine that cures happiness.
That's a great way of putting it. Welcome back to the Tangent Podcast. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. This
Good.
is great. I'm excited because today we have a delicious beverage. If you've been with us the last few episodes, we have been delving into the world of spilt caffeinated milk. And we've tried the chocolate and strawberry. Yes? Yeah, chocolate and strawberry. Yeah. Both amazing. Pretty dang good.
Pretty dang good.
And this week we have cookies and cream, which, as we all know, cookies and cream, everything, including the candy bar, is the best.
Disagree.
Agree to disagree.
We had a feud about this a couple minutes ago.
Let's crack this bad boy open. Wait, do we need to read the thing on the side?
Yeah, you got it.
Chill it, chug it. Cookies and cream milk tastes like you just stole the best cookie in the jar, times 10. Give your spilt a little swirl. Oh, we forgot to do that last time. Give it a little swirl. And chug the rich creaminess of a drink so tasty, yet nutritious, it can only be described as freaking delicious. Refrigerate after opening.
I don't know how much I believe the nutritious part of that.
Oh, dude, these guys are from American Fork.
Really?
Yeah, Spilt LLC out of American Fork. It would be Utahns that would caffeinate milk. Give it a nice old smell. It doesn't smell like anything. Am I just clogged up, or does that not smell like anything?
It smells like vanilla.
Yeah. I love it.
It is good.
Is it better than the chocolate and the strawberry, though?
That's what I'm trying to think of right now.
It's much more subtle.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't give it enough of a swirl. It also does have a bit more of an aftertaste to me. But it's really good still. I'm still going to give that like an 8.
I think the chocolate might be better.
The chocolate's better.
Maybe.
The strawberry's probably on par with it for me. But I'm giving it an 8. A solid 8.
It's good. It's good.
They have vanilla milkshake that we still need to try, peanut butter, and like a double chocolate. So those will be the next flavors.
Well, can color me intrigued.
What do you rate it?
If I gave strawberry an 8, I'm going to give it a 7.9.
Okay. I respect it.
Just very slightly under the strawberry.
Yeah. I think I'm slightly disappointed from my expectations.
That is right. Yeah, there were such high hopes.
But still delicious. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's do that. What you got for us?
So this is something I've been having quite a bit of fun with, the Utah treasure hunt. So if you're from Utah, you probably heard about this, but 2 dudes from Utah for the last 6 years, this is the 6th year they've done it, have been hiding a treasure chest with cash inside of it somewhere along like the Wasatch Front. So every year they release a poem with clues in the poem, and then they release new clues every week until somebody finds a treasure. So this year they did it again. There's a cool 25 grand sitting in the treasure chest.
Wow.
And they released a poem. I'll read it to you because it's intriguing. It's super hard to figure out. It's been almost 4 weeks and nobody's found it yet. I have gone out a ton and looked for it. And I feel like I've been close, but I haven't found it. So the poem says, "Begin your search where fabled words resound, before the standing stairs and kings were crowned. Trace the steps of the lion-hearted teams, only outshone by a jewel's unyielding gleam. If you get lost, just follow the arrow as you play peekaboo with the pharaoh. Store all these new memories inside the bank, but stay far from the edge when you walk the plank. Whistle with Princess Peach this simple tune, while you listen to Dark Side of the Moon. The treasure is near now. Check if you're alone and discover the chest between two stones. So that's the poem. And then the boundaries that they've released are basically from Ogden, between Ogden and North Ogden is the northern boundary, down to Payson on the south end. And then from Tooele over to basically Park City area is the east-west boundary. So it's a large chunk of mountains, tons of canyons, tons of trails. And I've been looking, and they release new clues every week. So you can go to the website, which is, let me pull up the name, Utah Treasure Hunts, UtahTreasureHunts.com, and they send out an email every week with new clues, so you can go find it. And then the Instagram page of the guy that does it, his tag is on the John. His name is John. And he will release updates there if it's found. But go find yourself a cool 25 grand out there and follow the clues.
Man, that is just the most like obscure clues in the world, though.
And they release clarification. So like they released one that said that the pharaoh that it references is just a natural landmark that they thought looked like a pharaoh while they're on the trail. There is an actual arrow somewhere on the trail. They've said that it is 29 paces off the trail is where the chest is, and that an 8-year-old kid, so his daughter did the hike with him when he hit it. So an 8-year-old kid was able to do the hike. Like, it's not dangerous. You don't have to pay to get in. It's not like on a cliff. So anybody can find it. And it takes about an hour to hike, an hour or so to hike to it, maybe a little bit more, or up. They said up to that amount of time. So they've released some hints and clues, and every week they release more. So tune in. But the reason I'm intrigued by this, so the inspiration for these guys doing theirs was a dude named Forrest Fenn, who back in 2010, he was like a legit archaeologist and studied like ancient civilizations and stuff. And he was an older dude, and he collected a bunch of ancient artifacts and gold and jewels and all these things that he'd found over his career. And then when he was like in his 80s, decided to hide a treasure chest full of like $1 to $2 million worth of like legit ancient gold and bracelets and stuff from like Chinese dynasties and just all this cool stuff. So then he released his own poem with clues, and then he released a map, but his map was like the entire Rocky Mountain range. So from like Montana down to New Mexico. Yeah. And it wasn't found for 10 years. So his hunt, he hit it in 2010, and somebody finally found it in 2020.
Really?
But his poem was like, it's kind of the same thing, pretty cryptic, but he had like a cipher built into his poem, so you had to solve this cipher. And then he wrote a book, and in his book he included other clues. Obviously you didn't know what the clues were, but pictures and things that
so you had to buy his book if you wanted to.
You didn't have to, but it helped you. And so they released a documentary about it this year called Golden Greed. It was a 3-episode documentary. And so the documentary followed, there was like a family of a dad and his sons in Wyoming that were like heavily looking for it for like 2 years. And then there was a dude out of Texas, like some super rich dude that was looking for it forever. And there was like a lady, an older lady that knew the dude that hit it really well, and she was looking for it forever. So it kind of follows these people on their quest. The dude that finds it wasn't even in the documentary. He like wanted to remain anonymous initially, but I guess the family started receiving like threats and stuff, and no one really believed that this dude had found the treasure because they weren't coming out and saying like, "Hey, this is the guy that found it. This is where he found it." And
made it up.
Yeah, and the dude Forrest Fenn died too, so he they just not accurate information was coming out, and so the family was getting like threats and stuff, so they came out and they released pictures of the guy with the chests and everything. And then at the end of the documentary, you find out that this dude bought, the rich dude from Texas that was looking for it, he went and bought a bunch of the pieces of the treasure. And then at the end, the very last like scene of the documentary is him, a clip of him saying, "Hey, I bought all these pieces of this treasure, and I added a bunch of my own stuff, like jewels and diamonds. I put a Bitcoin wallet in there that's growing in value, and I hid it in a chest, and here's my map. So it's the entire western U.S. from like California to Colorado, basically, and then north to south, Washington down to New Mexico and Alaska as well. And then he released his own poem, and he so he hid it's like between $1 and $2 million, but his is legit. He took some of the items from the other treasure and put them in there, and then bought like diamonds and rubies and sapphires and put those in there.
That's
too.
crazy.
So now that was just released in March, and I just watched it over the weekend. So if you want to check his out, his website is called Beyond the Map's Edge, and he also has a book too. And he says that like if you buy the book, it will help you on your quest, but it's not necessary to buy his book. But if you're serious about it, you probably want to buy the book. So I've been having a lot of fun with it, though, the Utah one, and I think every time I go out, I'm going to find this freaking treasure, but I haven't yet.
Good luck.
It's still fun.
I hope you find it.
Yeah, it's a good adventure, good exercise, but go out and find the treasure. Hopefully not, because I'm going to find it first, but go have some fun hiking in the mountains.
If you find it, you have to come on our show and tell us about it.
Yes.
That would be pretty dope, actually. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, I hope you find it so you can buy me something.
I'll buy you a drink, beverage.
Yes.
But that would be fun if whoever finds it, we could reach out to them and get them on the podcast and be like, how did you solve it? Like, how did you figure it out?
Anyway, shall we delve into today's topic?
We shall. Why don't you kick it off?
Today's topic is ghost ships and other just paranormal at sea, I guess.
Maritime mysteries.
Maritime mysteries, that's the one. But ghost ships are crazy. And I mentioned one in our second episode ever, which was Alaska's urban legend. Because there was one in it called, oh man, I have so many of these that I believe it was the Bay Chimo. I don't know. I got to go back and listen to that. But I believe the Bay Chimo is the one we were talking about. But there are very many ghost ships that I don't know what the definition of ghost ship is, but I guess that it has a ghostly quality to it. Sometimes the crew is missing. Sometimes the crew is all dead on board. Sometimes the ship itself disappears and reappears. But there's some pretty legitimate, I don't know how legitimate actually, but they're pretty freaky stories, and they're good talks. Which ones do you know about, Austin?
So the one that caught my eye the most was the Ellen Austin, because
the Ellen Austin is a good one.
What a great name. So this one, the Ellen Austin, happened in the late 1800s. So the Ellen Austin was a 210-foot long American schooner. Which, do you know what the difference between a schooner?
I don't.
And like a boat is?
But schooner's fun to say.
Schooner, yeah. And it had many masts, probably huge sailboat. You know, one of those like black pearl types with the big 3 masts on it, masts. And it weighed over 1,800 tons. That's a big A ship.
It is a big A ship.
It was manufactured in 1854, so it's an old one. And used to sail between London and New York over the fabled Bermuda Triangle.
Oh,
in the Atlantic Ocean. If you've tuned into our podcast, you will remember our riveting episode on the Bermuda Triangle. And so in 1881, when it was going from London to New York, it saw another ship on the Atlantic Ocean near the Sargasso Sea, and this is in the Bermuda Triangle. And the unknown ship, it was still moving, but it was like kind of erratically moving. And so they took note of it, and they could see that nobody was on board, but the ship was still going strong, and it was still functioning correctly, still seaworthy. And so they watched it for a couple days and decided to send a crew, what's called a prize crew.
That's something I thought was interesting, was that on that one, Captain Baker, he watched it for 2 days to make sure that it wasn't a trap before sending his people on board. But yeah, go ahead from there.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a common thing for people to just like...
I bet pirates did it.
Sit below.
After they had like commandeered a ship or whatever, I'm sure they... had some be like pretending to be sending SOS or whatever, and then I don't know, then jump them.
Interesting. So yeah, they watched it for 2 days. Then he sent a salvage crew on board, and when the crew boarded, they searched the ship and didn't find anybody, not a single person, dead or alive, on the ship. But there was no sign of violence or struggle that had taken place on the boat. And the legend has it that everything was in order. Like, everyone's personal belongings was in their place, all the food. The captain's logbook was missing, and so was the ship's nameplate. So those were two things that were not in order, but those were the only things noted that were, like, out of the ordinary.
Nameplate?
I'm sure that's probably on the back of the ship where it says the name of the ship, so there was no nameplate on it.
That's an interesting 2 items to have missing.
Yeah.
Like, it almost feels symbolic, those 2 things. Like, those don't seem random. I don't know.
It seems like if something would have happened, like if they were attacked, maybe the captain would have logged it in his book, and then they took the nameplate off to, like, stop identifying that ship.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my thought. But so those were the only 2 things that were out of order. It was carrying a shipment of mahogany wood. And that was all intact. It's a fun word to say.
Mahogany.
Is that like a special wood, mahogany? It sounds fancy.
I think so.
Okay.
You don't hear it often, so I assume
Mahogany. It sounds fancy to me. Okay. So that was all there, and then so the captain of the Ellen Austin ordered the salvage crew to guide the ship so that they could all sail together back to New York. But after 2 days, the 2 ships got separated by a large sea storm, and then when that storm subsided, the unnamed ship was nowhere to be found. So it just disappeared. Then a few days later, the Ellen Austin found the unknown ship again, and it was sailing erratically again, and they boarded it again, and no one was on board.
lost their whole crew.
They lost the whole crew. So in 1944, a retired British Navy officer, Commander Rupert Gould, he wrote about the Ellen Austin in his book, The Stargazing Talks. And he narrated a sequence of incidents similar to what I've already told you about the storm and the people boarding the ship and finding nobody. And reconfirmed that the unknown ship was actually found again by the Ellen Austin. But again, like the previous instance, there was nobody on board. So multiple times they lost the ship and found it, and lost it again, and then found it again. No one on board. But the whole time this ship is like just sailing, albeit a little weird through the water. Just going on its own.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on this? Because
it's haunted. I don't know. I have no explanation, or I can't possibly come up with any other thesis that boat's haunted.
I don't know why the nameplate would be missing in the captain's logbook other than it being attacked. But if it was attacked, you would think that the shipment of fancy wood was taken.
It feels like maybe, in my mind, it's like, was the captain hiding something?
Maybe.
Why else would the captain's logbook be missing? I don't know.
What do you think he was hiding?
I don't know. Maybe not hiding something, but... Or maybe somebody took it after he wrote down what happened, and they couldn't have that. So. Yeah,
I mean, if it was attacked, you would think that they would take the stuff and the ship. Like, you killed the whole crew.
Everything was in order. Nothing was out of...
No violence, no nothing. You know what it was? They all got abducted by aliens.
That's it. Every single one of them.
And the aliens thought, the ship's name is super badass. We're going to take this nameplate and put it on our UFO. And this captain's logbook might give us some information into these guys. So we're going to take that too.
Or he was just holding it when he got beamed up.
Yeah. He was trying to scribble in there like unknown craft, and then he just got beamed up. That's it. We solved it, dude.
We solved it.
Yeah.
Let's go tell everybody.
Okay.
Do you want to hear about... Have you heard about the Ourang Medan?
Yeah.
You heard that one? This one's crazy.
This one's like one of the wildest ones.
So another ghost ship we want to talk about is Ourang Medan. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't even know how you pronounce that.
Medan? I heard it Ourang Medan, but I also don't know where it's from. Isn't it like Taiwanese or something?
Yeah, something like that. But this was in 1948, where another ship nearby received a transmission from this ship, and it said, SOS from the steamship Ourang Medan. Beg ships with shortwave wireless get touch doctor urgent. And then later followed by probable second officer dead. Other crew members also killed. Disregard medical consultation. SOS urgent assistance warship. After then giving its position, it received one final message that said crew has, and then nothing else. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
If you got that, that first part seems gibberish to me. Beg ships with shortwave wireless get touch doctor urgent.
It seems like they're just typing as fast as they can because, was it a voice transmission or was it like
it
an
says
Morse
radio?
Code? Okay. So, I mean, he's probably just trying to get it out, but also radios back in the 40s and 50s were probably cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so maybe he was saying, like, we beg any ships around with shortwave radios to get in touch with a doctor. That's how I would read that, like, get in touch with a doctor.
Okay. But then the second one being probable second officer dead, other members crew also killed. Disregard medical consultation. SOS urgent assistance warship.
Yeah, what's weird is they go from doctor to warship. Like, doctor's like, oh, this dude is poisoned or injured. And then warship is like, we're freaking at battle with somebody.
Yeah, or something.
Or something.
A radio operator aboard the troubled vessel is reported to have also sent the following in Morse code. SOS from Ourang Medan. We float. All officers, including the captain, dead in the chart room and on the bridge. Probably whole of crew dead. After a few more incoherent dots and dashes, then the words, I die, were received, and no further communications. I die?
That's a haunting.
That is
last.
that is crazy.
Yeah, that's so creepy. There were some ships though that were in the area that went to search it.
So they pull up to the ship and they find everybody on the ship dead in their places at their posts, like chef in the kitchen, captain in the, what do they call it? The captain room. The bridge? Is that the bridge?
The
cockpit?
bridge, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, and just everyone where they're supposed to be. However, they're on their backs, dead, and all have a horrified look on their faces. Was there anything else crazy about what they found on there?
No, just the weird horrified looks on their faces is strange.
It is.
That means they died like in a moment of terror.
Right,
you know?
but everyone being in their own spots, that doesn't make sense.
Because if you get shot and die, I feel like you slowly, you wouldn't necessarily look terrified. Your body just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but supposedly they all had this horrified look on their face.
So it almost seems like they were frozen in space. When they died. Insta, boom, you're dead. Stuck, frozen that way. That's strange.
So then it gets weirder. They hook up the ship and start towing it back. To start towing it back because they they want to investigate it, obviously. This is crazy. And as they're putting the tow lines on, they see black smoke and hear explosions coming from the ship. And so they hustle off, get back onto their own ship, and it goes down. The whole ship goes down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it blew up. Yeah, it exploded.
There were explosions, there was smoke coming out, and then the whole thing goes down. As they were hooking it up. It's like it let them look around, but then that's it.
Yeah, that is weird.
And then just right as soon as they wanted to pull it.
Does it say how long after that transmission was received to when they found it? Because I didn't really find that, but if it was like multiple days or if it was a day.
Let's see, I did not find that, but I can try to find.
My thought on this with them all dying in place is like, what's weird though is an urgent transmission was put out. And so you'd think the boat would be frantic and people would be running around trying to solve problems or whatever. But they're all found, like, a chef is just cooking in the kitchen, like, and everyone's in their post. That's what's weird to me. And so I wonder if it's like a health thing, like a toxic gas or chemical or something.
It seems biological, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe one of the engines malfunctioned and caused, like, carbon monoxide or something, and that's like how they all died in place because they got all poisoned or something. They just like dropped dead, and then that's why the thing blew up because it was malfunctioning. That's like what makes the most sense in my brain, because I just don't understand why everyone would be in their post if it was like a moment of war, unless they're in their battle post or whatever. But
I don't think so.
The chef was cooking it up in the kitchen.
I got nothing.
And then the other thing that's weird is that probable second officer dead. Like, is he dead or is he not? You know? And if they're at war, like, this is what, the 1940s?
48, yeah.
If he's dying and he's taking, like, a flak shell to the throat, he's dead. He's not probably dead. Like, I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's weird that, like, oh, he might be dead, and then other crew is also killed. So it starts out as a medical claim and then a war claim. That escalated super fast.
Yeah. The line disregard medical consultation is like scary dark. Like other members crew also killed. Disregard medical consultations. Like, we don't need them anymore. They're dead.
Yeah. What do you think?
What do I think? I'm never going on the ocean.
This could also be aliens.
That's a valid theory you bring up. You're bringing up a lot of good points with it too.
Aliens. That's the only point. Because everybody knows that the bases are under the water. That's where the UFOs come from.
I didn't know that.
Remember that one that the government released that like shot down from 50,000 feet into the water?
Yeah.
Yep.
It like went in and out of water.
Yeah.
As if crazy ghost boat. Crazy ghost boat.
That one's weird. So, since then, though, like, it blew up. Is this... I could never find... Is this... So, it's obviously sunk. Uh-huh. Is this one of those ones where there's still, like, sightings of it or anything like that afterwards?
I don't think so.
I didn't get that part of the story.
I don't think this is one of those. I think it's just gone and no one knows what happened on it kind of thing.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Should we move on to
what's the next one? What's the next one you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the Carroll A. Deering.
The Carroll A. Deering. I know a little bit about that one.
So this was a 5-masted schooner.
Oh.
Makes a freaking 3-masted Ellen Austin look like a little bitch boat. Launched in 1919, and it was found without its crew run aground off of Cape Hatteras. That's a fun way to say that. Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. There's a picture of it on Google, actually. That is the 5-masted schooner, the Carroll A. Deering.
I don't know why. I don't like that picture. It feels haunting as well.
It does feel haunting, probably because it's black and white and it's old. And everything that's black and white and old feels creepy to me.
That is true. Plus, that is a ghost boat.
Yep. So this boat was, again, wrecked at Cape Hatteras. It was hard aground, which means like it was on the ground. And all the sails were set on the outer edge of Diamond Shoals. So the shoals that extend offshore from Cape Hatteras were notorious as a common site of shipwrecks in the area. And they were known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic. So rescue ships weren't able to approach the Carolay Deering due to some bad weather when it
Okay.
crashed. And so it wasn't boarded until February 4th, and it crashed on January 31st. So it was 4 days before they could board it, and it was actually a Coast Guard dude that saw it. He was at a station at Cape Hatteras, and he like looked out and saw it.
Oh.
And so they board it 4 days later, and it was still like pretty bad weather then. So they finally board it. The boat had been like pretty well battered by the rough weather and the surf and stuff, and it was pretty clear that it was completely abandoned. The steering equipment was found to be damaged. The wheel was shattered. The binnacle box, which the binnacle,
It's a binnacle box.
it's mounted in front of the helmsman, which they put helmsman. Yep, they put navigational instruments on it. So this is what a binnacle box is. Yep, I still don't know.
I don't.
But, it would hold the compass and the gimbals and stuff to help keep the ship level when
I'll
it
hold
pitched
your
and rolled.
gimbals.
So you're gonna hold my binnacle box and my gimbals, huh? I mean, tell me what that looks like. Yep. So it was a navigational instrument. So that was caved in. The rudder was disengaged. So the rudder's the thing on the back that steers the boat. And the ship's log and navigation equipment were gone.
Of course it was gone.
So something with these logs, these
Something with the
captain's
captain's
logs being
logs.
gone. And the crew's personal items were gone, and 2 of the ship's lifeboats. In the vessel's galley, it appeared that food was being prepared for the next day, and it was just abandoned. So the food was abandoned. And so there was a boat called the USC GC Manning that attempted to save the Carolay Deering, but it was pretty much impossible. It was declared a hazard to navigation.
Oh.
And it was destroyed using dynamite on March 4th to prevent it from becoming a danger to other vessels. So that was in 1921 that it crashed. So February, they board it. In April 11th of 1921, a local fisherman claimed to have found a message in a bottle that was floating in the waters off the beach of Buxton, North Carolina. And the message said as follows: Deering captured by oil-burning boat, something like chaser. Taking off everything, handcuffing crew. Crew hiding all over ship, no chance to make escape. Finder, please notify headquarters Deering.
Huh.
So this throws a nice wrench into the plans. The handwriting was later identified as the ship's engineer, Henry Bates. And it was the captain of the boat's widow that identified his handwriting. And the bottle was proven to have been manufactured in Brazil. So they had been down there at some point. And there was supposedly a mysterious steamer ship that had arrived in Cape Lookout around the time of the disappearance of the Carolay Deering that they thought might have been involved in the hostile action against them. And the captain of a different ship of the Carolay Deering had tried to hail this steamer to relay some messages after they were trying to get back in this bad weather, but apparently they got attacked instead.
Huh.
So,
It's unfortunate.
And on this ship, this steamer, supposedly they had unfurled a canvas to cover the nameplate. So it seems like they were trying to hide their identity and just
like the other one.
Just pirate other ships and pillage. So, yeah, this is weird. When it crashed, there was no report of the crew being on board. It crashed just on its own accord.
Because
so
no one was. Yeah.
It looks like the crew was just taken off to me. I mean, it seems like a pretty cut and dry case, but it's also kind of crazy that they were just attacked out in the middle of the open water. Because I couldn't really find what they were carrying on this boat.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was. I know they were going to Rio de Janeiro and back. That's where they were going. But I don't know what they were trying to, like, carry.
Yeah,
It was a cargo of coal. Sorry, I missed
Coal?
that. But it was a cargo of coal, which you wouldn't think is something super valuable enough to be, like, pirated over. Maybe back in the 1900s, but
Yeah.
over a shipment of coal from Brazil. They were just attacked. So now it's reported that you can still see Carolay Deering
Huh.
floating out in the harbors of the Cape Hatteras at times.
Hatteras.
Cape Hatteras. Hatteras?
Oh,
Cape Hatteras? Is that?
that's right.
Yeah. But so that's where the whole ghost ship thing comes into play. Is well, one, when it crashed, the crew wasn't on board,
Yeah.
so it was an unpiloted vessel. But now apparently you can still see it floating out there, trying to deliver its last shipment of coal.
Of coal to the bad children.
Yes, they were going to the North Pole. That's where they were going
That's
to
where
take
they were
Santa Claus
going.
to coal.
Okay, what other ships do we have? Oh, this one's fun. The El Fausto. The El Fausto. Do you know anything about this one?
I read into it a little bit. Yeah,
This one's fun. Well, fun is not a good word, but
intriguing.
yeah. In 1968, near the Canary Islands, there was a crew of 4 men who were taking a 7-hour journey. Didn't write down where they were going, but it was only 7 hours. That's not very long for a boat ride.
No,
That seems like a half-hour drive kind of thing, maybe an hour. But I feel like most sailings were multi-day things. So 7 hours was not that long, but they never arrived. So they launched this whole, search and rescue team and whatnot. And a few days later, I think it was 2 days later, they were found finally. And all 4 were alive. They boarded the ship. They were found alive, but very exhausted and, tired, hungry, thirsty, that kind of stuff. And when they went to rescue them, they basically said, "Oh no, we're fine. No, we'll take the food and water you guys brought." And so they took that, but they're like, "No, we'll just sail home. We're good. There's nothing wrong with the ship. We're fine." And they were like, "Oh, okay." And so they give them the rations of food and water, and then they go home and expect them to arrive shortly after, and they never do. And again, another search and rescue was launched, but this time it was not found for 2 months. And when they found it 2 months later, it was I don't remember who it was, but someone found it, got aboard, and there was just no damage, no struggle of any kind, nothing out of place. But however, and like no one anywhere. But then they open the hatch door and go down to the engine room, and there's a single corpse found in the engine room, and it is naked and mummified, clutching to a radio.
After 2 months, it was mummified.
Yeah, apparently the conditions at like the salty air or something of the ocean or whatever really
I guess in
sped
the
it up.
engine room, it's probably hot too.
Yeah.
Might bake him or something.
You got water, you got heat, and you got salt. I don't know how mummification works, but
Yeah.
something like that. Anyway, near the corpse was a notebook, and who is assumed to belong to the corpse. But notably, the other 3 people are not on board at all. So no one knows where they are. And the notebook was found next to him, but most of the pages were torn out of the notebook. And most of them were like small notes, meaningless little things. But the last page was a farewell. And they ended up finding out this guy's name was Julio, who was one of the crew. He was the one that stayed on the ship, I guess. But it was a farewell to his wife, in which he instructed her on how to proceed with the insurances he had paid for and how to sell his properties so she would not find herself with no money after his death. The text ended as follows, quote, "Don't ever tell our son all that happened to me. You know that God wanted this fate for me." What happened?
Well, no one. Does it say how many people started on the boat?
4.
4. Okay.
4 men. So it was a small operation or whatever, but yeah, they're not there. So after that, they like telegram it into the Venezuela and Spanish authorities, and they decide that they're going to tow it back for the investigation. And during the first night of them towing it back, the El Fausto it sunk. It sunk. The first night, it's just gone.
Yeah.
That's 2 now that we have, that after hooking it up and pulling it, this one actually got pulled for a night, but it sunk and tore the line, and it's now at the bottom of the ocean. So now we're never going to know.
Did they say who it was? They couldn't identify who it was that was found in the radio room?
No, the engine room, it was, his name was Julio. I don't have his last name.
Julio, okay.
But
So I remember, there was a dude named Rafael that was the owner, and then he had employed Ramon and Eliberto Hernandez were the brothers. That's right. So Julio was a dude that needed a ride where they were going.
Oh,
so
is that
Julio
right?
was just like a rando that they picked up. And so yeah, he was I think he let me find it here. So he'd gotten so he was in the Canary Islands. He had 2 young kids. He was 27, and he had gotten a job as an irrigation maintenance chief at like a super private home nearby. And he got a call from his wife and his 2-month-old daughter that they were super sick that day and that the doctor had prescribed her some antibiotic shots. But they didn't have him where he was at in Tazacorte, so he had to go with this boat over to La Palma to get he had missed his initial boat to go get these antibiotic shots.
That's right.
And so then he hopped on with these guys and was like, I need a ride. Like, I need to get back home. I think he was going back to take the shots to his family. And so he approached the Fausto and he talked to the crew. And he's like, yeah, I'll help you on your boat for the next few days if you take me back. And he offered to pay them. But they said, nope, just come on the boat with us and help us out and we'll give you a ride. So...
And for some reason, he was the only one that was found on board.
That's strange. The rando that they picked up, the dude trying to like hustle back home, was the one naked too. How is he naked? Again, aliens. They're picking these guys up in boats and probing them because no one's out there to witness it.
I mean, that would be the best people to abduct, man. There's like no way you'd get caught.
Yep.
I'll have to remember that. But
consequence-free probing, go out on the ocean and pick up some boats.
I was going to say something before that. What were we talking about? The boat. What
Julio.
boat was it? Julio. Yes. Okay. When they found them and refused to be rescued, that seems weird for the Julio guy. I mean, don't you think he'd want to be like, yeah, get me out of here. Like, I want to go home to my family.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe they were, like, threatening him or something. Maybe they were hiding something and he, like, discovered it. And so they were threatening him. Because, like, usually when you see somebody that's in trouble or, like, hiding something and they get approached by law enforcement or somebody wanting to help them, they're like, no, we're good. Just keep moving along.
Let's see. I'm just looking at the details. 4 members of the Fausto's crew rejected the offer to being towed back. Instead, they asked to be given enough fuel and food to make it back to La Palma by themselves. When asked what kind of mechanical breakdown or failure they had experienced, they replied that their boat was fine and nothing was out of the ordinary. That's just so weird. Really? You wouldn't want to go? Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take the helicopter ride home.
I think they were hiding something.
But what? And why would a rando be involved?
Maybe they were smuggling drugs or something, and they picked up that dude to, I don't know, just to help them out on their boat because they needed another deckhand or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a crazy story.
Poor old naked Julio. Mummified in the radio room.
Correct.
You want to talk about one more?
Yeah, let's talk about one more. You got one in mind?
You want to do the Baichimo? The SS Baichimo?
Yes.
That's the one that you did on the Alaska.
That's the Alaska one. Yeah, let's go in depth on this one. What do you got?
So this happened October 1st of 1931. The SS Baichimo was on a trading run and was loaded with a cargo of furs, which at the time was probably a pretty high value, high ticket item.
The early 30s, yeah.
So it became trapped in pack ice. So the boat was trapped in ice. The crew briefly abandoned the ship and tried to travel over the ice to the town of Barrow to take shelter for 2 days. But the ship had broken free of the ice by the time the crew returned. That sucks for them. Like, they hike across some freaking cold tundra, and then by the time they get back, like, their ship is gone. So they leave for 2 days to take shelter, and then the ship is gone. So then it became mired again on October 8th, so 7 days later. More thoroughly this time, and on October 15th, the Hudson's Bay Company sent some aircraft to retrieve 22 members of the crew. 15 of the crew remained behind and tried to wait out the winter, and they tried to construct a shelter close to where the boat was. Mm-hmm. But on November 24th, a super powerful blizzard struck, and didn't seem like there was any sign of the boat anymore. So the skipper concluded that the boat must have broken up and sunk in the storm.
Makes sense.
Which sucks. Can you imagine that? We're going to abandon the boat for 2 days. Freak, it's gone. We got to go find it again. Then, all right, we're going to stay and wait out the winter and build this shack. Freak, the boat sank. That sucks for that crew, man.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty pissed. So then a few days later, an Inuk seal hunter told them that he had seen the Baichimo, 45 miles away. And so the 15 men tried to track the ship down, and they said it was probably unlikely that the ship would survive the winter, crash into ice all the time and get moored and stuff. So they retrieved all of the valuable furs from the ship that they could, and they were going to transport them by air, and then the Baichimo was abandoned after that. But it did not sink, however.
Oh, it was not sunk, huh?
Nope. The Baichimo, over the next several decades, was sighted numerous times.
So this is one of those ghost ships, the ones that just come and go as they please.
Yep. So, again, this sank in 1931. The last noted sighting was in 1969 by some Inuit hunters. So a lot of the Inuit dudes up there, the natives, were the ones that would see this thing because it was in their territory. And people tried to board the boat a lot of times, but each time they were either unable to, or the ship had bad weather or was driven away by the weather or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, last seen 38 years after it was abandoned by the crew.
So let's see. A few days after Baichimo disappeared, the ship was found 45 miles south of where she was lost, but was again ice packed. After several months, she was spotted again about 300 miles to the east. In January of the following year, she was seen floating peacefully near the shore by Leslie Melvin, a man traveling to Nome with his dog sled team. A few months after that, she was seen by a company of prospectors. In March 1933, she was found by a group of, I don't know how to say that word, Inupiat, who boarded her and were trapped aboard for 10 days by a freak storm. On August 11th, 1933, she was sighted 12 miles off of the settlement of Wainwright, Alaska. She was boarded by local inhabitants as well as the crew of the MS Trader and their passenger, the author and botanist Isabel Wiley Hutchinson. A whaleboat, some furniture, and several other items were salvaged. In 1933, August, the Hudson Bay's company heard she was still afloat, but too far a sea to salvage. July 1934, she was boarded by a group of explorers on a schooner. In 1935, she was spotted off the Alaskan coast. November 1939, she was boarded by Captain Hugh Polson in an attempt to salvage her, but the creeping ice floes intervened, and Polson was forced to abandon ship. She was spotted numerous times over the following years, but always eluded capture. In 1962, she was seen drifting along Beaufort Sea coast by a group of Inuit. And found frozen in an ice pack in 1969, 38 years after she was abandoned. Last recorded sighting of Beichimo, although there are some amateurs out there that claim 2006.
Also in 2006, the Alaskan government
Oh.
set out to find the Beichimo and solve the mystery.
Did they?
No,
Oh.
they never have. But they called it the ghost ship of the Arctic. And they wanted to see whether it was still floating around or whether it was on the floor, and they haven't found it yet. So it's still an unsolved mystery.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it seems like, I mean, yeah, obviously it was stuck and the crew was like taken out and abandoned it. Then it just floated on its own for like 38 years.
Yeah, and seen in different places.
Yeah, like hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that it didn't just crash and sink on more ice there. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Haunted. Aliens.
Haunted. Aliens, dude, I'm telling you. The ocean would be prime pickings for aliens because there's
true.
no witnesses. Christopher Columbus had an alien sighting on his boat, which
Did he now?
I think we said we were going to talk about that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this now.
Let me pull that up. Okay, so it says, during his first voyage in 1492, Christopher Columbus and his crew observed several unusual phenomena within the area now known as the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh!
These included, we need like the X-Files music right there.
Right.
Sorry. So these included the compasses were going haywire, like just spinning around, erratic compass readings. They saw strange lights in the sky resembling flames or a candle moving up and down, and a large ball of fire that crashed into the sea.
Oh, it crashed into the sea.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. And so
Very interesting.
the one account that I read that was supposedly from his journal was that ball of fire was like moving around in the sky and then crashed into the sea. So it was like consciously flying around and then...
So you're right. The alien bases are in the water.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, think about it. We know like nothing about the depths of the ocean.
We know more about space than we do about our own ocean.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
You want to hear a creepy ocean story that I saw one time?
Yeah, let's hear it. That fits.
This is a short one, but similar to the fire light, I guess. So on my mission, I lived on a tiny little island just off the northern coast of Panama. And to the north of my island was just open water. Like, there was one more tiny island that you could see that's tiny. I mean, when I say tiny, my island was from one side to the other was like 450 steps was it.
Pretty small.
So it's pretty small. You could walk it in like 4 minutes. And this island was smaller than that. And it had some little shacks, like a little tourist island that had shacks, like a little resort on it.
Okay.
And then after that, just nothing. So one night, we had electricity there, but it was ran off of a generator, and the generator shut down at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock at night, it was pitch dark. No man-made light. It was just the moon and the stars. So we'd go out every single night and just sit. Our house was right next to the ocean. So we'd just walk out behind our house and like look out at the ocean. And one night, I've seen it twice out there, but the first time we saw it, I was with my mission companion, and we saw like a glowing light under the ocean, like under the water. It looked like it was close to the surface, and it was probably like 50 to 60 yards out in the water, but it was just kind of like slowly moving around in the water, but in like not like randomly. It looked like it was like swimming around in the water.
Like a figure eight kind of
Yeah,
thing?
but it was like a big, I'd say it was like probably the size of, goodness, I don't know, like
a car?
No, maybe like a bike. Like the size of, and it kind of like had a hue around it, like glowing in the water, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, we just saw this weird thing and we watched it for like 2 minutes. and then
Huh.
it just kind of like faded away. And I don't know what it was, but the people there had boats and stuff, but they didn't have like submersible technology or anything like that, you know? So who knows what it was. And the tourist island at that time there wasn't anybody on it because it was like the winter there. So it was not winter, but like kind of the rainy season.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a colder time and like windier. Ocean wasn't as calm. And so typically there weren't a ton of tourists, and that island was like uninhabited at that time. So I know it wasn't like a tourist scuba diving, but it was also 10 at night. So it's completely dark in the water other than that one light. And it was
Very
close
interesting.
enough to our island that we could see that it wasn't like a boat on top of the water.
It was underneath.
It was underneath, but it was close to the surface. So that was weird. I still don't know what it was, and it wasn't like I mean, in the moment it was kind of freaky. I was like, what is that? That's really weird. But I never really thought about that until recently. I kind of forgot about it until we started doing the research for this show.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh, that was weird. But yeah, that's like my one creepy ocean encounter. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. I wonder what that was. Can ghosts go underwater?
I would think so. Do you think... We talked about this on the Haunted episode, how that kid was doing the acrobatics when he was possessed.
Yeah, right.
Do you have to know how to swim as a ghost to be able to go in the water and like be able to use the water?
That's day 2.
That's they go to gymnastics class and then swimming
yeah,
lessons. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I don't know what that was. So if any of you guys have ever had a similar encounter to that, let me know, because I've always been intrigued. I don't even have like the slightest idea what it could be other than like a bioluminescent fish. But it was big.
Do
It
those
was pretty
exist up on the surface? I'm pretty sure those are all like all down at the very bottom.
I don't know.
Because there is no light. They have to create their own or something.
big. Yeah, I don't know. But it was weird. I saw some weird fish out there though, like stuff I'd never seen before.
There are a
Just
lot of
weird
fish.
sea animals and some cool stuff too, dolphins and stuff all the time. But yeah,
Well, that's a good place to end it, I think. There are a lot more ships, but maybe we'll talk about them later. Maybe, but that was a good time. Thank you for coming today and talking some ghost ships with us.
Indeed.
This was a lot of fun to research, actually, because
was.
I didn't know any of these stories. It was kind of creepy, and I don't know. It's something about like alone on the ocean is like a haunting feeling. You know, it's just
I could never be a sailor on the ocean.
No.
I'll just put it that way.
no, can't do it.
Thanks to the pilgrims, I'm not cut out for it. Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys. And let us know what you want to hear next.
And stay beautiful.
Bye. Oh, those were like super interesting.
Dude, that
Ourang Medan
the Ourang one
is crazy. Yeah, that one's